The Chinese military is fairly secretive, so when they do a grand military parade, everyone watches. And on September 3rd, China decided to send a political message. This was their biggest parade in recent history and one of the largest modern high-tech weapons displays in the world, with many never-before-seen weapons shown. The parade included several unmanned fighter jets, unmanned subs, unmanned combat vehicles, hypersonic missiles, new STEM systems, new tanks, and so on. This video will go over every weapon shown and provide some details on most designation when it entered service, its possible use case, and if the weapon is a big deal, just how big of a deal it is. Inventory number estimates will also be provided visually when available, so buckle up. First, what this video won't cover. Various communications, support and logistics vehicles and system sensor vehicles will seldom mentioned unless they are a big deal. Also, we'll skip various historical and infantry units coupled with their firearms. There's too much stuff, so something's got to give. Parade announcers did say every system shown is in service, though in reality for certain systems like fighter jet drones, that's a stretch-a-tam. Off we go. The parade started off with helicopters. Z-20 is a new standard, medium-sized helicopter of the Chinese military, a 10-ton Chinese analog to the U.S. Blackhawk. Many variants exist like utilities, search and rescue, anti-submarine, and so on. The Z-10 is a medium attack helicopter. To compare, the U.S. Apache is roughly 50% heavier. Though smaller, the Z-10 still carries advanced guided missiles and sensors, probably compromising on range and armor. Next came the Z-19s. Those are scouting and light attack helicopters usually present in the same units operating the Z-10. They too carry advanced ATG missiles. Next came a formation of Z-20T helicopters. This parade showing is sort of their premiere. They are a cross between an air assault and air attack helicopter, retaining troop transportability while adding missiles and sensors to guide them. Lastly, 3 Z-8L large transport helicopters with a widened fuselage, possibly in the 14 to 15-ton class range. It's China's biggest halo to date, sort of an analog to the Augusta Westland 101. After the helicopters, the ground parade started. As said, we are skipping to vehicle formations, which started off with the heavy stuff, Type 99 tanks. This is apparently a novel B-sub variant. It's China's heaviest tank, probably in the 55-ton range, roughly analogous to Russia's most modern T-90 variant. Then came to brand new Type 100 tank premiering at the parade. We just did a detailed video analysis on it. In short, it probably weighs around 45 tons. It's full of sensors, has an unmanned turret with 105mm gun, and a highly armored crew compartment in the hood. The equally new Type 100 infantry fighting vehicle followed seems to share the same platform with the new tank. It's likely among the heaviest current in the world. It's also full of all-around sensors and curiously mallet-guided at missiles. Next, ZTL-11 assault gun vehicle used in Chinese wheel brigades to provide direct fire support with its 105mm gun. The vehicle is amphibious based on the BL-8 baseline chassis, which was also shown. BL-8 is an amphibious infantry fighting vehicle, though seemingly it got new flotation devices. BL-8 have sometimes been seen in beach landing exercises. They are one of most produced fighting vehicles, China fields. Then the PL-9, it's a compact 122mm howitzer mounted on the CBL-8 platform, providing indirect fire support to Chinese wheel brigades. It's also amphibious. Next, a trio of new generation airborne assault vehicles. First, an armored personnel carrier, lightly armed sporting a pair of missiles, a grenade launcher, and a machine gun, but also an active protection system. Then the next-gen infantry, fighting airborne assault vehicle. It has an unmanned threat, a PS system, 2 different guided missile types, and a 30mm autocannon. The third airborne vehicle seems to be a gun mortar for indirect fire support. That's a class of vehicle Chinese Airborne Corps didn't use before, and it's the lowest tech vehicle of the 3. But it's apparent China is investing in its airborne assault assets, more heavily replacing a single basic vehicle, the old ZBD-3, which was in turn similar to Soil BMD-3 with 3 different new airborne assault vehicles. Then came to PHHL-191, China's heaviest multiple rocket launcher system. Various loadouts are possible, but the 2 heaviest ones were shown. One featured 8 370mm rockets. Precision guided, probably reaching 300 or so kilometers. That pretty much puts 90% of Taiwan within systems reach from China's mainland. The other loadout showed two big boxes. Those hold 750mm wide ballistic missiles, probably reaching 500 kilometers or more. Apparently, both an anti-ship and a cheaper ground strike missile is available. Basically, they're a bit bigger analog of the US PrSM missile. The PHHL-191 is a big deal as it enabled the Chinese rocket force to slowly get rid of its older ballistic missiles and entrusted the Army with the short-range ballistic missile barrage mission. Then Navy's assets followed. Navy's air defense missile backups were shown on track stands. The first was labeled HQ-9C. The regular HQ-9C lacks a booster that this shown naval variant has, possibly pointing to an expanded role. Given its slim size, it's likely this new missile can be multipack in VLSLs and ships. Next was the HQ-16C. It should equip Navy's 054 of frigates and a few of their older destroyers. It is roughly analogous to the latest Russian book missiles. Next, a whole missile launcher mock-up for HQ-10 missiles was shown on a truck. Those launchers are designed for ships and usually hold up to 24 HQ-10 missiles. They are used for close-range cell defense against incoming anti-ship missiles. It then came a laser system on a large truck, which may help defend naval bases. But apparently the same model has been tested on ships. The huge lens suggests long-distance focusing, and a large truck power plant may allow for a 6,200 kilowatt laser. Next came anti-ship missile mock-ups, most of which have never been seen before. YJ-15 seems to be a ramjet-powered supersonic missile compact enough to be fired from tactical aircraft like the J-15 flankers, or it might be fired from ships if a rocket booster stage is added. YJ-19 seems to be a hypersonic cruise missile with a booster, possibly small enough to be used from submarine torpedo tubes or bomber aircraft. This is the first time China showed a hypersonic cruise missile, so this is a fairly big deal. YJ-17 is a hypersonic glider on top of a large booster, yet seemingly compact enough to fit into Chinese universal VLSLs found on most of their destroyers. China now has several different hypersonic glider models, including dedicated anti-ship variants. YJ-20 is the only missile that was known from before. It's a ballistic missile with a large booster, likely again sized for the universal VLS system, probably used both for anti-ship and ground strike missions. Then came new generation, lightweight anti-submarine torpedo. On track stands, possible designation U-12. Such small torpedo are used by surface ships, helicopters, and planes in their anti-submarine missions. A rocket-assisted anti-submarine torpedo used by ships to quickly airdrop anti-sub torpedoes, usually up to 30 kilometers away. China has used similar system for a decade now, but it's unknown if this is some new variant. Then a heavy torpedo, which should be the U-10, that's a rough analog to the US ADK to be used from submarines against both ships and enemy subs. Next, a torpedo-looking system, which is in fact a smart autonomous sea mine launched from torpedo tubes, then some anti-air assets. This time from the Air Force, we'll skip through various new radar for brevity. First SAM shown was the HQ-11, probably for immediate defense of bases and valuable locations against incoming munitions like cruise missiles, glide bombs, and so on. It also has an UNSU gun component. HQ-20 hasn't been unveiled before this parade. It seems to be a medium-range system, but not much else is known. Plausible uses are either an anti-ballistic missile-oriented system, like a more specialized Chinese PAC-3 equivalent, or some general purpose. SAM akin to Russian S-350. HQ-22A was also shown. The HQ-22 family is a cheap mass-produced medium range. SAM to fill the gaps between more expensive HQ-9s. Next, HQ-9C launches C denotes a new slim-form missile probably used alongside bigger HQ-9 missiles, similar to how US Patriot units use both PAC-2 and PAC-3 missiles. Unlike PAC-3, due to its length and single stage, the HQ-9C missile doesn't seem to be optimized for a ballistic missile. Missions. HQ-19 was next. That's a dedicated and ballistic missile system known for a few years. Now its missiles are a bit larger than the US TAR, perhaps closer to what Thought ER proposal was. Basically, it seems designed against medium to intermediate range ballistic missiles. HQ-29 was also shown. This is the first time its missile containers have been clearly visible. The 29 forms the upper part of China's anti-ballistic missile defenses. Containers same size for missiles and between the US GBI and Russian S-500 missiles. Basically, the HQ-29 is likely to be used against both intermediate-range and intercontinental-range ballistic missiles.